So, okay, everyone online, just let me know where you are joining us from across the nations of the earth as we dive straight into the conversation. And if this is the first time you are coming across this channel, I'd like you to subscribe to the page. And also, those of you who are joining now, kindly share this across board so that more people can see it and be blessed by the conversation. And at the same time, I'd like you to like this broadcast. Just use a thumbs up there for us to know that you are there. Once again, thank you for connecting tonight. Um, the conversation I want to bring to the fore is what I titled Momentum. But I like to also share certain announcements before I go into the conversation. Some of you who have been around for a while, you know I do this every Sunday. But beginning with this month now, every last Sunday of the month is going to be a Q&A session. So what that means is we are not just coming to be asking the question. The questions will have been sent by people who have them, maybe as touching the things we discussed before that last Sunday, or any other related clarification that you need about real life situations. Are you saying that? And of course, you will only be able to raise questions if you are on our WhatsApp channel, if you're on our community, where I make other things public. So in the course of this broadcast, I'm going to share, okay, I'm going to share with you a link to be able to join the channel so that you will be able to bring your question. And if anyone also want to be brought live, you want me to bring you live in the course of the broadcast, I mean, that last Sunday of every month, you have the option to indicate. Are you seeing that? So that said, tonight I want to speak to you on the topic titled Momentum. I know that this is the second month in the year 2026, and some people now, as we speak, they were very motivated in the beginning of the year. They set what you call yearly goals. But unfortunately, not too many people realize their goals at the end of the year. And the reason is because most people, they start with motivation, but along the process, they lose motivation. Are you seeing that? They lose motivation. So the reason, if you have been struggling, okay, to keep up with your goals, if you have been struggling to maintain something for a very long period of time, what you really lack is momentum. And I'd like you to pay enough attention because what I'm about to show you this moment, it may look so simple, but it is practical, applicable, irrespective of your age and your geography. So I like you to pay keen attention. When we talk about momentum, maybe I should just refresh your mind. Let's quickly do a refreshers course now. Um, you know, in the basic physics, high school physics, where you were taught different forms of quantities. We have scalar quantities and vector quantities. I'm not trying to take you into the fullness of that idea this time around, but I just wanted to give you a like perspective. You know, at that elementary level of physics, momentum was defined, okay, as the product of mass and velocity. And you all know that velocity is a vector quantity. And what makes something a vector quantity is because it has direction. So, but let us take it away from physics and bring it to real life definition. When we talk about momentum, what does it mean? In a simpler term, or in a simple term, momentum is what you can describe as the driving force. Are we together? What we describe as what? Driving force. And when we talk about driving force, number one thing you need to know is, let's take for instance, vehicular movement from point A to point B. If you have everybody here, I believe most people online, you are an adult, and as such, you are either someone who can drive or someone who has been driven on many occasions. So you realize that for a vehicle to be able to move from point A to point B, it must at least have the ability first to start, number two, to maintain that motion. It may be changing speed, but it should be able to maintain that motion. So let's bring it to you now, how it relates to you. So when we talk about momentum in terms of your own personal functionality, it is your ability to be able to maintain motion in the right direction in life. So this moment, I want to give you very quickly 10 points that can help you to maintain momentum in life. But before I go into highlighting this point, I'd like you to know that the moment you lose momentum, it doesn't matter the motivation behind whatever you have started, there is no longer an end in view. So this is something we must all master, especially if we want to live a life of meaning and wrap up our, journey on this side of eternity, even with significance. You must be able to maintain momentum. And of course, I remember a story that someone shared with me, how, he wanted to travel some times ago, and he was moving from a city to another. Then to, somebody promised to give him a car to use for that journey. But the car the person was giving to him was not really in a stable mechanical state. That is, it was not really in a good state at all. But the car looked so good, looked so flashy, and all of that. So, a journey that was supposed to take about 8 hours, the gentleman started that trip. After about 45 minutes, the vehicle stopped. Are you seeing that? So, that person now asked, he had direction. He even had, the destination in view. He had every other thing in, but something else went wrong, and that was the fact that the vehicle he was using to embark on that trip was not in good shape even to carry him there. So I'd like to say this to you before we can move further to discuss anything around momentum. Added to, every other factor you may want to consider, the most important factor is the state of you as the individual. And I'd like you to pay attention to that. Because the moment you undermine the significant role of your own stability, then you realize that a lot of things you will always want to achieve, they will remain only in the realm of desire, never turn into reality. So you are the number one factor. And that number one factor, there are things you need to pay enough attention to. So let's go now, and if you can hear me clearly, indicate in the comment box that you can really hear me. I can see some people here, maybe that I don't really know, but wherever you are joining us from, one more time, I salute you. I can see Gabriel, that's from Canada. Good to have you. Ifeoluwa, interesting, from Nigeria. Good to have you guys on board. So number one on my list here, if you want to maintain direction, it is that you must get direction. You need to write it down. You must get direction. What does that mean? You see, everything you want to do in life, it does not matter the motivation and the energy that you are bringing on board. The moment you are not in the right direction, it will never bring you fulfillment. It will never bring you fulfillment. Number two, you will never maximize your potential in the wrong direction. So there are people today, it is not as though they are not really doing well. As a matter of fact, it is not as though they are not consistent, naturally. But what is bringing them to stall in their progress is because they are laboring, exerting energy, engaging, but in the wrong direction. Let me give you a very simple and clear example. You know, when you uh, get gain admission to, let's say, higher institution, university, polytechnic or whatever, you realize that you are allocated to a specific college. You are allocated to a specific college, a specific department, or a specific program. For instance, if you are doing, let's say, bachelor's degree in economics, then you can't be enrolled in the School of Engineering. So you have to be in the School of Management Science. Please pay attention. But if somebody is being offered admission to study mechatronics engineering, you cannot be in the College of Arts and Humanities. You see that? So the reason why people are allocated to different programs, different sections, and different segments is because everybody must be equipped in the right direction. So the moment you are not engaging in the right direction, even if you get every other things right, you will still be wrong overall. Are you seeing that? So the first thing you have to settle is to get direction. And what are the things you should consider when we talk about getting direction? Now, I've written about this on many occasions. Those who have been following, what I write or the book I published, you will have come across some of these conversations. But the idea is this: direction has to do with your purpose. And tonight, I'm not going to stay on purpose. Like I said, I've done a lot of work around that. If you even go back to some of the previous sessions on this same channel, you will see some of them. Are you seeing that? But the thing is this: if you want to get the direction that will give you fulfillment in life, there are 4 things that you need to put together all at once. And let me quickly run you through them. The first of them all is that you must be able to make these 4 things to achieve 3 things rather to achieve the 4th purpose. Number 1 is what we call natural abilities. Some, you can call it your gift, your talent, whatever name you want to call it. That is not necessarily your purpose, but that is something that is a pointer to what you can do easily than other people. Are you seeing that? Because what is easy for you is not necessarily easy for everybody. So you want to pay attention to that. Again, that is not the full definition of your purpose, but that is an indicator that this is something that should be useful in the area you should be engaging. So number 1, gifts, abilities, and talent. That's all of them are just one factor. The second factor is passion. Because a simple gift can be, stewarded in different directions. You can use, okay, let's take for instance, if somebody is gifted in speaking, you can decide to be a lawyer. Are you seeing that? You can decide to be a public speaker. You can decide to be a salesperson. You can decide to be a communicator. You can decide to even be a teacher. You can even, maybe if you now have, let's say, the call of God upon your life, you can decide, all right, to be a preacher and all of that. The same gift you are speaking, you are using your vocal cord to make communication, but you see that what you can do with that, they are so much and very different from one another. Therefore, the second factor is what we call passion and interest. So you need to check this ability that I have. How am I passionate in stewarding it? That's the second thing. So what exactly are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that really call your attention? Because whatever you are not designed for will never appeal to you, no matter the traction those things are gaining in the popular culture. So if something, by one way or the other, begins to call your attention, you also need to start paying attention, because that thing is not just calling your attention without having like a synchrony that is connected to in you. So you have your gift. The second one is your passion or your interest. Now, the third one now, this is where it gets serious. Because sometimes people are passionate. They have ability, but they don't know how these two can be engaged to meet needs. So that's the problem. They don't know, all right, how this can be engaged to meet need. So you must be able to marry these three together to form a central idea. That's what will now lead you to what we call direction. Which direction am I applying myself to? Am I applying my gift into? Am I applying my passion to? Because ultimately, it must be able to meet specific need. So you need to have direction. If you don't have direction, cannot be consistent because you will be a facade in many of your engagement. You will not be directional. You will not know where to face and where not to face at all. Are you seeing that? Again, let's take it back to simple motion on the road. If you are going somewhere and you don't know the direction to the place, you see that the chances of you arriving at your destination is very slim. They are very slim. So because of that, you need to have direction in life. So I ask you, wherever you are listening to me at this time, what direction, okay, do you have in life and destiny? Where do you want us to find you in the future? In which field should we be looking for you? If there is none that is specific, then I can tell you on all authority, you are just one of the people floating on the face of the earth. If there is any future at all for you, it will be the one that will happen by happenstance. And that one is not usually desirable. So direction, that's number one. So number two, okay, on the list now, because when you have direction, you'll be able to eliminate distraction. You know what is meant for you and what is not meant for you. If someone has desired to be a medical doctor, you wouldn't go to school to focus on literature knowledge, basically. Are you saying that? So if you like it at all, it will just be, in order to broaden your knowledge. That can't be your primary focus. So direction is very key in life. Then number two, after you get direction, the next thing I will say is that you should have a destination in view. You should have, in his book, Stephen Covey wrote a book titled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I want to believe some of you listening to me, you might have read it or heard about the book. One of the principles, if I may still remember clearly, he said, you must commence everything with an end in view. And that is very powerful. You know how I know that that is powerful? I take a very clear look at the scripture. Because when I study the Bible, I check contemporary history, I found certain principles that are universal and transgenerational. And to have an end in view is one of such principles. Jesus was speaking to his disciples. He said, have you seen a man who has planned to build a tower, but will not sit down to plan in order to be sure if he had what it takes to finish that project? Are you seeing that? That is what it means to have an end in view. If you want to go into construction, you have a master plan. There is already the drawing of the overall image of the building, maybe not a building, of whatever you are trying to build before you embark on translating what is on paper to something on ground. So the reason why most people lose momentum in life is because they don't even know what they are looking for. And let's break it down, even to what you do every day. Some of you, maybe in 2026, you promised yourself that you will take content creation seriously. For instance, I know some people have that kind of vision, some of us don't. But you see, somebody who has promised himself to take content creation very seriously. The thing is, what is the overall objective? Why you are doing content creation? So what's the overall objective? The moment you can't define the end, I'm telling you, at one point or the other, you will not be inspired anymore. because you don't have something that keeps you going. Are you seeing that? If you are traveling, a couple of weeks ago, I embarked on a road trip of 9 hours drive. 9 hours drive. Now imagine if I did not have an end in view. How would I have been able to continue on that kind of trip? That would practically be impossible. So it means maybe after I had driven for 4 hours, I will feel I've tried. So the reason why many of you gave up on some of the things you started but you couldn't continue was simply because you practically did not have an end in view. The question I'm asking you by this second point is that how much do you want to achieve? To what extent do you want to take this thing to? What exactly is your ideal end goal before you embark on this trip? Before you embark on whatsoever it is that you are doing. If you want to get a degree program, you know that graduation is the end of the whole thing. I have to finish this program. So it means whatever it takes until I finish and I return with something from there. Apparently, I wouldn't say I've done well enough on this, program. Are you seeing that? So you need to define what exactly you want to see. You must have an end in view. So after the direction, the second point to maintain momentum is to have a destination that is well defined. And I remember the last session I had, online like this last year was the one where I spoke about definiteness of purpose. Definiteness of purpose. And of course, you can just go back to listen to it at your own convenient time. Because this is what will guide somebody even to scale beyond ordinary people. The moment you are clear about what you want, your options become limited. And because your options are limited, your potentials, they are optimized. Your potentials are optimized because you won't just be trying to do everything. When you look at when you just go through history and see that the people who made meaning in their time, they were not people of many persuasions. There might be people who had different kind of gifts, but never people of multiple persuasion. So you have to know specifically what you want to achieve and let people know you in that line. I can tell you on all authority, everybody you know today, if I mention their name, something will come to your mind. Apart from family and friends or classmates, but the people you know that are not your relative, I can tell you for free that you knew them by the virtue of what they are known for, which usually will be one thing or max of two. At least they may not have other things they are doing, but there is always one that is always above the rest. Do you want us to give it a try? But you know that's true. That's true. If they mention Lionel Messi to you, what comes to your mind? Straight away, football. But the gentleman may have investment, I don't know, but he may have investment in oil like and gas. That's not what we know him for. So when you are definite and you are specific, by the time you scale at that thing, you can diversify into something else while you still maintain, what you are known for. So you must have a destination in view. Number 3, having gained direction, having conceived a destination in view, the third one is start. You need to start from somewhere. You need to start from somewhere. It does not matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter how life has treated you. It doesn't matter how things have been fine or otherwise. Wherever you are is a good place to start. Are you seeing that? Even if you have been going on in the wrong direction before, if whatever it is, even if you have been journeying in a desert, the moment you gain direction, the best place to commence is exactly where you are. If you're in Nigeria and you want to travel to Canada, you can't start your trip in Ghana. You can't start your trip from Kenya. It's not possible. If you're in the city of, let's say, Manitoba in Canada, and you want to come to the United States, it is impossible for you to commence that trip from maybe Toronto. It's not possible. So I said that to make you realize that where you are is the best place to commence. Because if you don't start there, then it means you will be unable to break what we call inertia. If someone, again, want to, let's say you want to fly or you want to drive, whatever it is you want to use to commute from point A to point B, no matter how far the journey is slated to be, you just have to start at one point or the other. So after gaining direction, after creating an end in view, the third one is that you must start. Can I say this to you? Whatever you refuse to start will not grow. Whatever you refuse to start, you will not be known for it. Whatever you refuse to start, it doesn't matter how much of capacity building you are giving yourself into. There is no system on the face of the earth that is designed to give you all the knowledge required in practice. So what I'm trying to make you realize is that anybody that is already a practitioner, and you are sitting down in the name of capacity building, but you are only busy reading, I can tell you the person on the feed is gaining certain experiences you will never learn in books. Is gaining certain experiences you will never get to learn in books. Number 4, still under starting, what you don't start cannot be part of your track record. So before we talk about being consistent, maintaining motion, you must break the inertia by commencing. And what are the things that limit people from breaking inertia? You remember the first law of motion? Newton was saying every object will continue in a state of rest or uniform motion until that body is being exerted upon by an external force. What the gentleman was saying was that every object you see on the face of the earth, including you and I, and every other matter you can see, they will either remain where they are, or the moment you set them in motion, they will not be able to stop. They will just continue to run like that, except there is a force that is acting on them. What that means is this: anything that will start a motion, a force needs to be applied, either visibly or invisibly. And I can tell you, there are different kinds of manifestation of force. Okay? But when the journey commences too, there is always a point, okay, where that thing has to stop. It can't just continue like that. What will cause that thing to stop is also another force. Why men don't break inertia is because they are not clear. So the moment you see yourself struggling to commence something, it means you lack clarity. Don't deceive yourself. Never claim to have clarity over something you are struggling to commence. That's not true. The moment clarity comes, inertia is broken. The moment clarity comes, inertia is broken. So you need to seek clarity to be able to, to break inertia. And no matter the level of clarity you are seeking, you really need the audacity to start. Because when you begin to acquire knowledge too, part of the things that will affect you is to feel you are not ready. But there is nobody that is completely ready for anything. Oh yeah, there is nobody that is completely ready for anything. The moment you believe everything inside of you is moving you to commence, then at a level, just start. So don't forget, whatever you don't start will never grow. Whatever you don't start will never be part of your track record. Whatever you don't start, you will not master. So you need to start. Somebody say, I need to start. Write that in the comment box. I need to start. I need to start. So what are you starting this year? Or what have you started? Because I don't believe you should just be starting now. What have you started? Because before we talk about you gaining momentum, at least there must be something you are committed to. There must be something you are involved in that we now need to teach you what we are teaching today for you to be able to keep at it. So number 4, okay, when you start like that, the fourth one is that you must be able to preempt roadblocks and avoid or eliminate them. And I will explain what I mean by that. When you start, I live in the United States. When you want to, when you are driving on these highways, usually, especially when you use Google Map, that Google Map oftentimes will give you different direction to the same destination. Okay? They can tell you that if you go through this direction, the trip will take you so number of hours. If you go through this other direction, you are going to have additional 45 minutes before you get there. You see that? Now, there may be another road that truly leads to that place, but maybe there is construction and all of that. So they've diverted the direction for the people. But if you are not aware, you still embark on that. That's what I meant by roadblocks. So you should be able to preempt roadblocks. What are the challenges I'm likely going to face as I commence this project, as I commence this program, as I embark on this task? Now, when you preempt them, what do? You devise strategy to avoid them, okay, by adjusting yourself. I'm going to get there, but by adjusting yourself to get out of the situation or by eliminating them. Can I say this to somebody listening to me? It is not every roadblock in life you can avoid. So there are some you have to confront and deal with it. You just don't have option. There are some you need to confront and deal with them completely. So stop wishing your problems away. The moment certain problems have come to you, they have already come. You can't do anything than to overcome the challenge and move forward. It is what has not happened to you. You can do everything to prepare against something. But the moment you are in a situation, the next question you should be asking yourself is the way out. There is nothing like why me? There's nothing like why me? Why not you? That's the question. Why not you? Either you like it or you don't. You are there either ways. You are there, by the way. What should you do? You create, a way out of the situation. So you have to preempt roadblocks and take yourself out of it. Let's say, for instance, you are starting a business. And the business, you need some seed funds and all of that. Now you've been able to get partners and all of that. Part of the roadblocks you preempt is that what if by the time I take this thing to the next level, certain competitors arise and maybe they are stronger than you potentially? How do you deal with that? You can't just be living life without preparing for what I call friction. There are things that would definitely want, especially if what you are doing is meaningful, adding value to life, and apparently is going to bring you to a place of significance and meaning. Then there will be confrontations, there will be resistances, there will be hindrances, there will be roadblocks. You have to preempt them. Some of these can even be internal. It is not in all cases that roadblocks are external. You preempt them, you deal with them. That is how to maintain momentum. Okay, what number am I now? Number 4, right? So number 5, you need to avoid burnout. And I will spend some time around this. You need to avoid burnout. If you drive latest vehicles, 2025, 2024 models of car, it's easy to get all of those things in advanced countries. Even on renters, you can just go rent any kind of car if you have your money and cruise the car around. But you see, when you drive those cars, they have been programmed with artificial intelligence such that after a certain number of hours, the vehicle itself will alert you to take a break. If you have driven, recent models of vehicle, you can corroborate what I'm saying by putting it in the comment box there. I've experienced that a couple of times when I will be driving, all these rented vehicles. And at a point, the thing would tell me by itself that you need to find a space to take coffee break. The idea is that life is not designed just for you to be. Sometimes people are so passionate about what they are doing that they don't have enough time to pay attention to their own rest. Let me say this to you, is that you shouldn't be wasting any time. I think we are back now. Oh, goodness. Please, can you all hear me now? What kind of network is this? Okay. Please, let me know what number I was before I was logged out by the network. If this happened in Nigeria now, we'll be complaining about third world. But you see, okay, please, what number? If you can just mention the last point you heard, let's bring that up on time. We are back. Okay, we are on avoiding burnout. Okay, I was speaking about your body, speaking about your mind, and speaking about your heart and your spirit. Basically, I was saying, if you take care of your body and you give proper, you give attention to what is going on in your mind, and you are emotionally stable. But if you avoid the development of your spirit, what happens is that the moment you are confronted with something that is orchestrated from the realm of the spirit, you will fall flat. And that's the reason why so many people who are doing fine, they get to a point where it appears that they are suddenly taken out. It's because they are developing other things at the expense of their spirit. Why the scripture clearly states that it is the spirit of a man that will. So number 6, you need to a system for refueling. Number 6, and this is what I mean by that. You see, the energy of commencement and the energy are not the same. They are not the same. If you are embarking on any major, endeavor in life, if you don't give yourself to a system that keeps refueling you, it's a matter of time you will run out of fuel and you will be grounded. And this is the idea. You know exactly what you need for you to keep being relevant in that field. How you'll be able to maintain momentum is that you plug yourself into a system where you are not only flowing out, but you are also getting something to fill you. This is the challenge with some people who are into maybe public speaking or preachers. Some people, they have preached all the sermons they know. And now it's like they can't maintain momentum anymore. Then they start saying things that are to run out the people are gathering, and you don't have something to tell them. The reason why that happens, why people can't maintain momentum of effectiveness, is because they don't have a system of refueling. If you write, read. If you speak, listen. If you are building, watch other builders. Just make sure that whatever it is you are doing, let there be a system that keeps you being inspired, and keeps you being refreshed. The moment that is taken care of, you will never be stale. You will never be stale. So you have to have a system, that keeps you being fueled. They are empowering you, energizing you, so that when there is a reduction in the momentum, you are quickened again. You are quickened again. And of course, one of the things that will make that happen is when you surround yourself, okay, with, and that is number I am. I mean, I can be put off easily. There is someone trying to reach me. I just want to believe it's not an emergency, trying to call me by every means possible on virtually all the platforms now. But I have to finish. I have to finish this broadcast. Number 7, you have to surround yourself with motion. You have to surround yourself with motion. And this is the thing. You see, there is no self-made man. There is none. The only thing you can have is a self-taught man. There is no self-made man. So you may get to see people or hear some people that they don't have a track record of any individual directly pouring into them. That doesn't mean they are self-made. It means they are self-taught. And on many occasions, they are the ones that now have accumulation of divergent intelligence. So you can come out to say nobody has ever, that's not true. Is that no specific individual has been able to hold your hand. Fantastic. But the idea is this: you must surround yourself with motion. How do I mean? You will be surrounded with motion by just these two factors in my own definition. When you have good models and when you have men of like passion. When you have good models and when you have men of like passion. How do I mean by good model? Everything you seek to become, you are desiring to, achieve, basically, I want you to know that at least in a measure, someone has done it. So it will be unnecessary arrogance on your side, never to give attention to find out those kind of people. It is not compulsory that you should go and create a direct connection to them. But you should have people who are motivating you. You should have people who are inspiring you, models. Let me share some funny stories with you here. I remember, I'm not going to mention the name of this man now. He said while he was on OAU campus, because today now he speaks across different, landscape. On OAU campus, he was always listening to Miles Monroe of blessed memory. Miles Monroe is just that man that is one of those men, because there are several of his kind, and we have some of his kind alive in our countries now, except that some people may undermine them. Okay? But Miles Monroe was that man that was one of those men, rather, that impacted more people without direct contact than the people impacted by contact. Oh, yeah, across different, strata of human society. So that man said he will be listening to Miles Monroe almost every time. Then at a point, he started organizing, speaking, all of that. So at a point, the first time he set up his platform to speak, he spoke for the first 1 hour, and somebody called him and told him that, gentleman, you were not being yourself in the first session of this meeting, and you can't afford to continue like that. That anyone who has related with you directly would know that you are trying to force yourself to be like Miles Monroe. And he himself admitted that it was true. because he had listened to Miles Monroe. He just wanted to be gesticulating, citing examples, doing everything like Miles Monroe. But by the time he moved to his own skin, he was able to find his own voice, and he continued, and people started giving him attention. The idea is this, not that he stopped listening to Miles Monroe, because there's something I want to bring out there. When you find a model, the idea of a model is not that you should build their carbon copy. The idea of a model is not that you should be walking in their shadow. The idea of a model is not that you just let go of your originality and lose your own uniqueness. No, 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 no. But listen, when you find a good model, for instance, if you are doing ministry, and let's say in Nigeria, and you look at someone like Pastor Adeboye, number one, people who have been preaching for over 40 years and they have not burnt out. So at least they are telling you that it is possible. It is possible. Kenneth E. again got healed, if I'm not mistaken, at age 17, started preaching after that, and preached till age 87. That's over 60 years of active ministry. It means it's possible. So why you have people all around you who did ministry for 5 years and they have become vagabonds on social media? No. When you have models, they keep inspiring you, showing you the frontier of what is possible as they are extending it every day. Then you see people who are not only preaching for 40 years, they have also maintained marriages for over 50 years. So you know you can serve God and still keep your home. That's the idea of a model. Are you seeing that? And these people, they are not absent for these several decades. So it means they are can keep you refreshed and consistently be active. You must have people who are showing you possibilities that you are yet to experience. When you are men of like passion like myself, then it means I don't have any excuse. So you must have a model. Apart from having a model, you must now company with men of like passion. Somebody said, if you show me your friends, I can predict your end. And the Bible confirms that he that walks with the wise is wise. The decision to have company with wise men is wisdom. He said, but the company of fools shall be destroyed. Listen, go and check. I've said this before. I mean, repeating what a popular man of God said in Nigeria, that if there are 5 foolish people around you, he said you did not count well. There are 6 because you are that 6th person. You can't tell me you want to build something significant in your time and you are surrounded with naysayers. No, no, no. That's not an attack. You are the one attacking yourself. You have become the weapon fashion against yourself. So who are the people that have your attention? And some of you don't put value on the things God has placed upon your life. You don't put value on it. You are casting your peers among swine. You are relating with people who are not forward thinkers. And I'm not saying you should undermine them, but you know, every time you spend with these people, you are always taking 2 steps backward. Yet you keep going there. Then you see that you are your own problem now. So to maintain momentum, create a community or be part of a community that propel people to keep working. Number 8, you need to accept responsibility for things that are bigger than you. You can't make by just staying with motivation alone. No. Because responsibility, listen to this equation, responsibility is what will compel you to maintain what we call gravity, and gravity will produce momentum. And this is what I mean. Go and ask married men, responsible ones at that. The moment you start raising children, it doesn't matter how undriven you are naturally. The moment you start taking responsibility for other lives, you will know that compulsorily I have lost the right not to make money. That is the idea. The reason why you give up on some of the things you are doing is because you are really not aware if any major agenda is at stake because you are not on the feed of engagement. That's the reason. So, but the moment you take responsibility that no, if I decide to slow down now, things will be getting spoiled, even at scale that is beyond my own immediate environment, then you will not be able to just go in and sleep. They asked Bishop Oyedepo that you said you have only been sleeping 4 hours in every 24 hours for over 30 years, that time. And he said, yeah, that's true. He said, do you take Nescafe? Do you take caffeine? Do you take any of those things, antioxidant that can make you to stay? He said, no, I don't take any of those things. I take responsibility to be awake. He said, I take responsibility to be awake. Go and check responsible CEOs. The moment you have staff members who have families, and you know that if we get it wrong in this boardroom, all these people will not have salary. Apart from the product you are offering or service you are offering to the people, then you will not be able to sleep at night. Responsible people hardly lose momentum. It is when you absorb yourself in gross irresponsibility through excuses. That's what, around that time, you begin to lose momentum. So if you want to slow down, the question is, why did you start? The next question is, what happens to people who are benefiting from this commitment? If you care enough for them and you are not only focusing on your own self, then you will be encouraged. And let me say this to you, responsible people, they transit from motivation to inspiration. It is at the lowest level that you need somebody to keep encouraging you and motivating you. At another level, you become the motivation. And that's when you are now an inspiration to other people. The question is there anyone, and I want to assure you that there are, maybe you are not paying attention, but if you pay attention enough, you will realize there are people who are inspired by you, even at your level. So you want to pay attention to make sure that their hopes, the expectation, you are not living for them, but they shouldn't just be disappointed. You shouldn't be one of the people confirming to them that when you start something good, it can fade halfway. So be the reason why someone else will keep moving. So become an inspiration and you will overcome the need to be motivated every time. The need to be motivated every time. And let me now say something, even as I'm trying to bring everything to a close. And the thing is this, there are people who are indifferent to results. Oh, Holy Spirit, help me. Holy Spirit, help me. Listen. The moment you are indifferent, now I've been there for some time, so I understand what I'm saying experientially. The moment you really don't mind, if this thing is going to work, let it work. If it's not going to work, I'm not perplexed. It is not a virtue, it's a disadvantage. Write it in capital letter. I am not wrong to desire results. The people who don't desire results, they hardly maintain momentum in life because they can give up at any point. They lack what is called fighting spirit. Fighting spirit. Never continue life again by saying, I don't mind whatever happens. You need to mind. Excuse me, sir. You need to mind. Bro, you really need to mind. You must mind what is happening. You must care to have result. You must care to approve. I remember those days where we're doing a lot of religious gymnastic around our people who say it is not about result, it is not about this, it is not about that. Fantastic. But if life, if universe, if God, if providence, all of them combined have positioned you to get results, and you decide to, to play into the gallery by choosing to be indifferent, then you have betrayed the hope of a whole generation. Somebody gets what I'm talking about? So you must desire results. And that's where I'm going to conclude tonight. That thing you have started, having picture the end in view, benefiting other people beyond you, creating a system that keeps you, being refreshed and all of that, moving from motivation and becoming an inspiration. Desire results and pursue it. Desire results and pursue it. Because at the end of the day, there is a limit to which you can be an inspiration to a generation if you don't have proofs. So stop saying, I don't mind, even if I don't have anything to show for it. No, you should mind. You should mind. If you are doing the work of ministry, I know some people are pastors there. You should mind that people are getting saved through you. People are getting equipped and empowered even to do the work of ministry through you. You should mind. You should mind. If you are doing something and let's say 10 people are already benefiting, or 10,000 people, you should desire that 10,000 can become 10 million. If what is driving you is bigger than where you are now, there is no how you will not forge ahead. The other day, I was speaking with some of my mentees in Nigeria, and I told them, I said, for you to influence 1% of the world population, you must at least have direct influence on over 80 million people. Are you seeing that? Go and check people who are doing greater stuff, then who have not been tired over the decades. You will realize they are raising the bar every time. They are extending the frontier. It is always new vistas. Every new season, they are opening up something new. If you don't give yourself higher mountain to conquer, you can never maintain momentum. And of course, that's where I'm going to pause tonight. And for those who join us at another point, you may want to go back to the beginning of this conversation to get context and perspective. And I made an announcement that every last Sunday of every month is going to be Q&A. And the Q&A, we are going to take it through my WhatsApp channel. Let me try if I can bring it to the comment box now. So you will send the questions before that time. The question can be from the things we have discussed in the course of the month, or other things burning in your heart that you want us to talk about. And I'm going to create an option for you. And that option is that in case you want to be brought live to ask your question so that people can see you, you want to come live with me, there's a way two of us or more can be on this live broadcast. So that's just the kind of things we will be seeing every last Sunday of every month on this channel. Once again, if you are here to like this video, please do so. Share with people that you believe is going to bless. And Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Gabriel, if you can, are you able to get the link? The link from the channel. Okay, I think I can get it here now. Just in a moment, I'm going to drop the link in the comment box now. Thank you. Okay, okay, Doc. Anyways, you can check any of my social media handles. I think the other device is not permitting me to make a comment now. I don't know why, but it's fine. Please take care of yourself. God bless you. Have a great week ahead.